What is going on YouTube and Spotify? This is the Just BSN podcast, and today we have episode 77. We are almost at 80 episodes deep, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we just keep going. It don't matter. But we got a lot to talk about today, and actually some pretty solid, like actual happy news in Cleveland. There's finally been a resolution to the Myles Garrett saga, which we will get to that here in just a little bit.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, we're going to go ahead and start off with the other more positive note, and that is our beloved Cavaliers, who are currently riding a 15-game winning streak, the second 15-game winning streak that they've had just this season alone. And it's kind of funny that we started with one, and now we might end with a winning streak. Obviously we still have another 18 games left to play, so I don't want us to have a crazy win streak towards the end of the season, because I feel like that will just put too much pressure on us. But vibes are still going. Obviously Donovan is going to be out again for tomorrow. He was out during the last game. I think it's just more precautionary than anything else. Doesn't sound anything serious, but I think this is how the road is going to be up until the playoffs for the Cavs, especially because they just clinched the divisional title, that win against the Nets. So, Drew, how are we feeling after everything? Obviously, we are sitting very, very pretty. The Celtics just lost last night as well to OKC, so I think that just gave us another full game ahead of them as well. So now we're at 9 or 8.5 games above them. Something nuts.
We are currently 8.5.
Yeah, so we have a nice cushy lead against them for first place, and I think we still have the best overall record in the NBA by at least a half game, if not a full game. So we're still cooking.
Yeah, I mean, we are cooking. We're a game and a half ahead of OKC if you want to do the full league. So, I mean, the vibes are great, man. We're chilling. We're enjoying some great basketball. Again, a 15-game win streak on top of another 15-game win streak that we had earlier this year. So 2 15-gamers and I think a 13-gamer win streak. Yeah. So, I mean, this team is just all vibes. This team's on fire. Donovan Mitchell has a hurt groin, but he's out there putting popcorn in Jalen Tyson's car. So
that's pretty funny.
He's living the life right now. He's enjoying some good basketball. And honestly, like you said, this is probably going to be the rest of the road for the Cavs. It's just guys like Garland and Mitchell kind of taking it a little bit more easier now. Same with Mobley and Allen, I'm sure, in the next couple weeks. Because at this point, you clinched the division title. You got your first round home series. Basically your home series for the whole playoffs, essentially, at this point. So there's really no need to start all these guys, and these guys can start getting some rest. I know Ty Jerome is back finally after missing a couple of games. I know DeAndre Hunter's day-to-day, and I think he should be back tomorrow as well. But I think the Cavs are essentially going for clinching the Eastern Conference, and then you're just going to see guys like Garland and Mitchell kind of just stop playing, or they'll play against the more meaningful games, again, a Memphis or your Lakers or something, but then they'll sit out against the Pelicans or the Hornets, you're more weaker teams. So I'm excited because, again, this is where we want to be. We want to be at the position where you can start resting players, keep healthy for the postseason. Because obviously, and I know Celtics fans were gloating about it, their championship still, and they beat a very injured Cavs team, because in that playoff series we were missing Evan Mobley every other game. Allen missed the entire series.
Obviously, Garland wasn't himself.
And
Donovan was beat up.
Yeah, Donovan was in and out of that series. He played game 1 and game 4 or something. And it was bad because it's bad when we're starting guys like Markieff Morris, and so Celtics fans can sit there and complain oh, you beat us without KP and Drew Holiday, which is meaningless because Drew Holiday had a stinker yesterday. In the last couple of games he's been back, he's had multiple stinkers. And we all know Kristaps Porzingis never plays more than 30 games a year.
I was just gonna say it. It's pretty it's pretty much like him to miss half a season. So
Yeah, well, he in his second year now as a Celtic. Last year he played a total of 55 regular season games and missed the entire postseason until the finals.
Mhm.
And then he has now only played 35 total games this entire season with multiple injuries and now this mysterious illness that he's had for the last 3 weeks. So he's never healthy. He never plays. I don't think he's played more than half a season since his rookie year when he played like 73 games. Ever since that season, he's been playing no more than like 50. So it's just one of those things where once Drew Holiday came back, that team's fully healthy because Porzingis is not even a part of that fully healthy squad. So they can't complain that, oh, you beat us without Kristaps. Brother, he never plays.
Right.
He plays like 3 games and he disappears.
Yeah.
So, and OKC just curb stomped them last night. And as of right now, and I forgot that I was going to tweet this out the other day, the Celtics are 2-4 against the top 2 teams in the league in Cleveland and OKC. They're 0-2 against OKC and they're 2-2 against the Cavs.
Right.
They're 2-4 against the top 2 teams in the league. And everyone keeps saying they're title contenders, they're this or that. And it's like, don't get me wrong, they are title contenders, but they're not. I don't think they're as good as last year. And there's always that championship hangover for every team that always wins. And who knows? They might get beat up by the Detroit Pistons in round 1 or something because that always happens, especially in these championship hangovers. They'll win and then they get their ass by the first team that they see.
Right.
So, and they lost to 20 to Detroit when they had Kristaps Porzingis like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. They had a full healthy roster and they got 20 balled by the Pistons. So I expect obviously for us to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals against Boston.
Right.
But I think it's going to be a totally different series with everyone healthy. And it's going to be a more hard-fought series. And I think the Cavs, and I mean, another stat too is the Cavs dropped 45 points off the bench on the Celtics when they only scored 6.
Right.
And their 6 came from Peyton Pritchard, the only guy on that bench who could score for the Celtics. Because otherwise, Sam Hauser and all these other guys, they just get rebounds. They don't do anything else.
Yeah.
They don't Luke Cornett's not dropping more than 2 a game.
Yeah.
So it's beyond me. And obviously, when we have Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter starting or playing games, it's just game over.
Yeah.
So I like right now the vibes are great. The Cavs are playing great ball. We got Memphis tomorrow, so it should be a good game.
Yeah.
And we just keep it rolling, man. We just keep the streak rolling. And again, I don't think they care about the streak. They just want to clinch the conference and be done with it.
I mean, in to kind of go to your point here, I actually think the Cavs are kind of toying with their food lately. Just because of the way we're starting games, like we're starting games really slow. And typically throughout the whole year, we've started games pretty fast and really done a really good job. Besides a few games, that I can think of off the top of my head. Obviously, the second Oklahoma City game was really rough when we played them at their place, and then that one Cavs game that you went to at home
against the Celtics,
that was pretty bad too. But other than that, like the Cavs typically will start games really fast. Well, as late the last probably 2 weeks now, probably even going on 3 weeks, we've had some really slow starts, and the Cavs will be down, and then they'll climb back. And it's almost like they're trying to do that to kind of sort of prepare themselves for like a little bit of that, adversity that they've needed to face because they just haven't had it a whole lot this year. They've won 20, 30, 40 plus point games. I mean, shit, we beat the Knicks by 45 or something a few weeks ago. Like, the Cavs have not had a lot of games that were really, really close. So I think they're kind of toying with their food in a way to kind of give them something to look forward to. And different guys continue to step up each night. Garland had a nice ending to his night. He started off a little rough, but came back and ended up having, I think it was like 16 points alone in the fourth quarter, ended with 30, shot the ball pretty well. The game before that, Strus had 17. He was like 5 of 5 from 3. Obviously Evan Mobley is going to have his nights. Ja had a pretty good night the other night. He had like 23 points, 13 rebounds. So he's a double machine. And guys, again, just continue to step up. Now, against the Nets, we didn't have Ty Jerome, and I don't think we had DeAndre Hunter as well. So we were down a few guys, and we still ended
Yeah.
up pulling out with that game despite being down in it. And again, it is the Nets, so it's not like it's a major team to beat. It was very doable. It's just, yeah, the Cavs just kind of seem to just they always seem to find a way to win. And that's an important trait to have, especially when you come playoff time, because you're going to face plenty of adversity. You're going to get the best out of each team that you play in the playoffs, and you get them at least for 4 games, sometimes 7. And so you have to be prepared to make those adjustments and handle that adversity. And I guess the good thing about this team is they've been together long enough to where they know how everybody's going to react. Really, DeAndre is the only guy that really hasn't been here that long, obviously, but he's fit in perfectly. And yeah, the vibes just continue to stay steady. They continue to stay resilient and fun. I mean, and this Cavs team is still not getting enough credit because the guys like Boston, OKC, hell, even the Lakers are getting more notice through the media than we seem to be getting. And it's really funny that that's continuing to sort of be the motto here. And I get to a degree why. We haven't had a ton of success yet in the playoffs, but each year we've gotten better in the playoffs that we've gone to the playoffs. So now the next trajectory is at least making the Eastern Conference Finals, but you should be able to win out in the East with the way the East is played out. And also, things can happen. Like Boston can lose to whoever the fuck. Like they can lose to Detroit. The Knicks could lose to Detroit. Detroit's going to be a scrappy team this year. The Pacers are going to be scrappy this year. It's going to be interesting. Even the Hawks. Ever since they've gotten Niang and LeVert, they've actually been playing better. Like Niang has had some 20+ point games quite often over there. I know Trey just had a 35-point night last night. So again, teams are going to play better in the playoffs. That's not a shock to anybody. And the Cavs are just resilient enough, and I think they have the capability of beating every team in the East, and they have the capability of beating every team in the West. I mean, we have a good, solid record against teams in the West as well. So I'm not concerned about the potential for this Cavs team. It's going to be what version of this Cavs team is going to show up come playoff time. And I think that's where the media gets this from, but why don't we stay in the present of what's going on right now and enjoy the fact that they're on another 15-game winning streak. It's the second 15-game winning streak that we've seen this year alone just with them. And even more so, there's been multiple teams now that have had multiple 10+ win streaks throughout the season. It's so much fun, and it sucks that the NBA is not as watchable as it used to be, or not as watched, because there's some great fucking basketball being played. I mean, even the Boston and Thunder game the other night was a great game. It was a great game throughout the entire game. But Boston, I don't know if you saw the stats. I think Boston shot like 40-something threes out of like 50-something field goals. It was something astronomical.
Let me see.
And that's the way you got to beat Boston. You got to make them just chuck up threes and pray that they miss.
Yeah.
Because as long as you don't give them second chance opportunities, Boston can't do anything about it. They can't compete with these guys. And if you shut down certain dudes, you can let Tatum have 50 points in a night, but if Jaylen Brown can't get going, or if Pritchard can't get going, nobody else is really going to have the firepower to do it.
Yeah, they shot, so I'm looking at it, they shot 63 threes.
Fucking ridiculous.
That's half of what OKC did. OKC did 37. And OKC shot 35%. Boston shot 30%.
And OKC has a much better interior scoring ability with Hartenstein,
Yeah.
Former Cavs legend, by the way.
And Chet Holmgren played, and he had 15 boards and 23 points.
Yeah.
So he
And Chet
decimated the center.
and Chet can, he can shoot. So I think that's what gives him the edge is the fact that he could play
Three
as
for
like a
six for
small
three.
forward as a 7-footer. I mean, he's like he's exactly like Mobley. Like he
Yeah,
has the capability to go outside and play inside.
yeah. He
Um
was he was 3 of 6 from three. Chet Holmgren.
yeah.
So I shot
So
50% from three.
so again, like that's the way you beat Boston. I think that's why Boston is so much more vulnerable and
Hmm.
they're very weak
Well,
minded.
yeah, because their starting big is Al Horford, and don't get me wrong, Al Horford had a great game. Yeah, he had 6 threes, and that was what he finished with was just 6 threes. So he had 18 points.
Which is
But
still good for him. I mean, for
he
For
doesn't.
Horford at least, that's good.
Yeah, but he's not going to do that every night.
No, he's
That's
not.
that's once in a lifetime for Al Horford now. You
Although,
know.
like Al Horford has done that a lot to us, so I
Well,
can't really
yeah.
speak on that because I don't know why we just have such bad rep when it comes to him. But he always seems to torch us randomly. Um,
Oh
hopefully
yeah.
that hopefully that will change come playoff time. But again, the Cavs have a much favorable ending to the season. I know we still have to play the Knicks another like 2 times, I think.
I
I think we got
believe
to play
so.
Phoenix twice. We got to play Sacramento twice. Like there's still quite a few teams that we have to play. A lot of Western Conference teams we got to play. But
Let me check that real quick.
it does also make sense because the MAC tournament's going on. So usually they'll do a West Coaster on during that time.
That's all. That's all on starting Tuesday because we
Yeah,
play at Memphis tomorrow. Then on
yeah,
Sunday we're playing Orlando at home,
yeah.
and
Okay.
then we go on a West Coast road trip against the Clippers, the Kings, the Suns, the Jazz, and Portland.
Okay.
And then we come home against San Antonio on the 27th, and then we are at Detroit for the final time on the 28th. Then we play LA Clippers again at home, and then we play the New York Knicks um, at home April 2nd. Going to San Antonio April 4th, April 6th, back to Cleveland against Sacramento. Then we play Chicago that Tuesday the 8th. And then we're on a 2-game road trip against the Pacers and the Knicks, and then we finish off with the Pacers at home.
Interesting.
And
So
that
yeah,
game Sunday versus Orlando will be on ABC, so it will be on TV.
hell yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's obviously still a lot of ball left to be played, but
Yep.
again, once the Cavs lock in the first seed, they can do whatever the fuck they want at this point. Like once it's locked, it's locked. So, but even then, the Cavs can sort of cruise, and
Yeah.
as long as they win these easy ones, I mean, like these games against like San Antonio and Utah, Sacramento, the Suns, even hell, even the Clippers. I mean, sure, the Clips are decent, and James Harden has been playing much better ball. He's been averaging like 30 points a game lately. He's been leading the league for the last like week
Yeah.
in points, but again, the Cavs have some favorable ass matchups. I mean, the games against the Spurs, you might as well point to a dub because they just lost Fox today. He's done for the
Yeah.
year. So
And they
they're,
lost
I
Wemby
mean,
for
they're
the
going to
year
tank.
too.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're taking. So,
The Suns are 3 games out, or excuse me, 3.5 games out from 10th place for the
yeah,
last playing spot.
yeah,
So they're fighting Dallas for that final play-in spot.
they're cooked.
Um, but yeah, I mean, as it currently stands, because obviously we don't know who's going to be the 7th, 8th seed until the play-in tournament is done. But as it stands right now, if the playoffs were to start today, New York would take on Detroit.
I
Because
think that one's pretty much locked in too.
Yeah, because
Like
New
it's,
York is the 3 seed and the Pistons are the 6 seed.
yeah, I don't see it
Because
changing.
because the Pistons got the final playoff spot, and that's pretty much locked in because I think Atlanta is like 5.5, 6 games back of Detroit for the 6th place.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much locked up for Detroit. And there's no way New York's catching Boston or Cleveland. And then for the second straight year, it'll be the Bucks versus the Pacers in the first round for the second straight season.
And I mean, I would think the Bucks would win that game. It just depends on if they go into that playoff series healthy.
They got
Uh,
4-2. They lost 4-2 last season
I don't know.
because Tyrese went crazy in that series.
That's true. That's true.
Halliburton went
I mean the
crazy.
I mean Indiana literally went to
The Eastern Conference
the
Finals.
finals. Yeah, so I mean
They got swept
they
by
were
the fucking Celtics, but
right. I mean, they weren't ready for it, and
no,
they're
God
still not
no.
ready for it. They don't have the players to make that serious push in the East. Is a tiny bit better because New York is better. But the thing about New York is, I can easily see the Pistons beating New York in a tough, like 7-game series
Oh, absolutely.
because of just how very tough they are. I mean, they are a scrappy team. They're going to be like the Magic. Honestly, like they are going to be this year's Magic team from last year. Um, they're going to be scrappy. They're going to play well. Cade Cunningham is obviously one of the better scorers in the league this year. Like it just makes sense. And obviously, JB. I think we all knew when JB was going to get that job. They're like, okay, that's the fit that he needs. Like he needs a team that is a genuinely young team that needs a lot of work because that's where JB thrives the most. Like JB didn't thrive with guys like Donovan and Garland growing and advancing. Like he was still treating them like they were rooks, even Mobley. And it's like these guys need to ascend. Like they're in their mid-20s now. They need to ascend. They're not these 20-year-olds that are barely in the fucking league that have played 1 or 2 years. And that's why it didn't work here. But dude, again, it's going to be very hard, very, very hard to pick against the Cavs in any stretch of the imagination, especially if they come out. Like, let's say they sweep the Hawks or whoever is going to be the 8th seed. And then let's say they even win the next playoff series in like 5 games. And then you face out on Boston and you beat them in what, 5 or 6 or even 7 games. People are going to be like, oh shit, here we go. Like, this is going to
Yeah.
be it. But like, it's a
And
path of success for them. They just have to lock it in come playoff time and not get overzealous and not play within themselves and play the way that they played all year.
yeah, and the play right now the playing tournament is Atlanta, Orlando, Miami, and Chicago. And I think we could already pinpoint that's going to be Orlando and Miami coming out of that
Yeah, I
because there's
mean,
no way
I can
Chicago
see I can
and
see the
Atlanta.
Hawks squeaking one out, but
Orlando's just getting better again.
yeah, they are. I mean, they're
And
still. I mean, they're still not going to have. I don't think they're going to have Suggs or the other Wagner brother, but they
no, they're
still
not
have
because they're out
enough.
for the year. Yeah, they're out for
Yeah,
the year.
they still have
I
enough
think the
though.
only position they're kind of like good in is the center position because that Wendell Carter is actually kind of solid.
Yeah.
I like him a lot,
Well,
but
and Palo's good too. I mean, obviously,
obviously Banchero is a stud.
yeah,
Like we can't
yeah,
forget about that.
fucking animal.
But I think the more complete team in that playing tournament is Miami
Yeah, I mean,
because Bam and
they're
Tyler
cer-
Hero
I
are
mean, they're
God.
certainly the most experienced, but
Yeah, for
they're
sure.
also one of the older ones. So it's like I don't see them getting past first round. I do see them
Yeah,
getting through the play-in tournament. Um,
and we'll get the worst of it. So if it's like Miami or something, the Cavs would play Miami round one, and
yeah.
I think we would have no troubles dusting the Miami Heat.
I mean, they would give us a little bit of trouble. I think.
Yeah, they
I
would.
think we would probably sweep them, but it would be a tough sweep. Like
Yeah,
it would be a tough sweep.
it'd be like the Atlanta Hawks in like
Yeah,
2015 sweep where like we swept them. But it was like a hard fought like swept series.
yeah.
Because that's what
God,
everyone compares us to nowadays is the fucking
right.
Atlanta Hawks team that was like the top of the NBA, and they're like, oh, this is the Cavs now.
It's like
But
not even close. Like
yeah,
the Hawks didn't even have a Donovan Mitchell type player. It was all like role players that fit within a role,
yeah, because it was like
basically.
who was it? It was Al
Jeff
Horford,
Teague,
Jeff
Al
T,
Horford,
Kyle Korver,
Kyle Korver.
Damari Carroll.
Yes, and there's one more that was decent.
I forget the fifth person. It's gonna kill me too if I
It
don't
was
remember
somebody
this.
random.
It was somebody random, but he was actually kind of solid in that system.
Atlanta Hawks. I'm gonna look them up right now, just to see.
I think it was 2014, 2015 or something.
Bazemore was on that team.
Yeah,
Damari
Cat
Carroll.
Bazemore. Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, Millsap. That was the other one.
Paul Millsap, yep. Yeah, and Dennis
And
Schroeder, yeah.
yeah, I was about to say they had Dennis Schroeder.
And that was his rookie year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Jeff T.
Cephalosha was on that team as well.
God, I forgot about
Uh,
Tabo. Um, Mike
Yeah,
Muscala was rookie.
Bazemore he was only in year 2. Dude, I haven't even heard of Bazemore. I
I
think he's like
know.
out of the league now.
I literally just clicked his name just to see what happened to him. He was last with the Lakers in 21, 22.
Yeah, so I mean I haven't. He's probably overseas or some shit then.
Oh,
I I
1,000%.
can
Let
see
me
that.
actually like look at his like fucking like Wikipedia because I'm sure he's in China learning Chinese.
All right.
I love those memes. Like, get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. He was last with the Greensboro Swarm in 2024.
Hmm.
So he was in the G League last year.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, they were a tough team, but they didn't have a Mitchell. And dude, when you compare Jeff Teague and Darius Garland, Garland's a way better point guard than him.
oh, for
Um,
sure.
I mean, I think Teague had better size to him.
Oh
And
yeah,
he was
T was
probably a little bit
bigger.
of a tougher guy, but no. And they didn't. I mean, sure, Millsap was like a traditional stretch four, but he was no Evan Mobley. He
Yeah,
was no Evan Mobley, and Al Horford is no Jaw, and they didn't have a Hunter. I mean, Struess, I guess, would be our version of like Kyle Korver, but honestly, even more so, Sam Merrill would be our Kyle Korver, just because
yeah,
he can light it up from three anytime he wants.
absolutely.
So
That's what he does.
yeah, it's a weird comparison, and like I get why people do it, but like I think the Cavs are their own unique. Like you can't even compare them to like Golden State. In 20 was it 16 when they were good
Yeah,
and did that, and had the over. Because I don't even want the Cavs to win 70 games. Like I don't want to put even that pressure on them. Win like 65. That's fine. I mean that's still a lot of wins. Like that is a very good season. Like you don't have to impress anybody else anymore. Just stay healthy, stay the course. Don't get out of rhythm. But you know, if you got to sit some guys a few nights, or like how they're doing with Mitchell, and then they'll sit Garland once or twice. They'll sit Mobley once or twice. Jaw's really the only one that's not getting set, and I think that's because he doesn't want to miss any games. I think he wants to play every game. So that is what it is. But you just have so many good role players and stuff. The Cavs are just they're going to be insane, and I cannot wait to hear the Rocket Arena going absolutely bananas for Game 1 in the first round, and just making some noise for the whole playoffs. Because if you get home court advantage, I mean that's already in our favor, especially if you lock up the first overall seed in the entire NBA. Oh,
oh yeah,
that's even better. So sure, the Cavs I would love the Cavs to do that, but it's not a requirement. It's just more of like a cherry on top. But get first in the East. That's you got to lock that up, and from there on, you're good. So
for
that's where
sure.
I'm at. That's where I'm at on the Cavaliers. I don't really have too much more on them because I know we got a lot of Browns free agency news to go over. So, what do you say? You might as well just start diving into that now.
Yeah, dude, let's do it.
All right. So, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, the Browns and Myles Garrett have finally made up. They finally come to a conclusion. This shit is over with.
They gave each other a kiss.
They at least gave each other a hug. Like
Yeah.
it was like one of those hugs where like
Uh,
you lean like this, but you don't have your hips leaned in and all the
yeah,
way
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're like you
it's the
leave.
awkward hug. Yeah, yeah, it's the awkward hug. But it came with a big fucking paycheck.
For sure.
Myles Garrett has agreed to a 4-year, $160 million extension. And the reason why this is kind of prominent is because a few weeks ago, you and I were discussing the rumors that we were hearing, and more specifically, me was hearing this
Mhm.
from my Dogland guys. We had some resources that were basically saying that he was returning for 3 years, 120 million. So they basically tacked on another year and tacked on another 40 mil and basically guaranteed him that 120 of the 140 mil. And I think 88 million of that is already getting like boom right there and then. So it's
Yeah,
going to be interesting. I'm really curious to see what he says tomorrow. He is supposed to speak at 11 a.m. So that is going to be like that's where everybody in Cleveland sports is going to be locked into is hearing him talk because although he agreed to the extension on what was it, Sunday or Saturday, like it was sometime this weekend or this
Yeah.
past week, weekend, they wanted to make sure it was done before tampering period. So that's why I think it was indeed Sunday. Yeah, it was because it happened while I was in freaking church. And I was like, oh crap,
He was praying for
I
that
can't get
shit.
on. I was, man. I was like, please, God, like, let's get out of this crap. But
Damn, God, why do you hate me, man?
he essentially the news was he had a sort of quote unquote change of heart and decided that he wanted to get it done before tampering period so he could help recruit guys into the Browns. So far there hasn't really been a lot of recruiting going on. Like it's been sort of a meme of like, hey, Myles is out there recruiting because of some of the guys that we got. And so I'll go ahead and go over a few of them here because I have everybody listed. So the first move after the Myles Garrett news that happened was the Browns traded DTR in a 5th round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles for Kenny Small Hands Pickett. Now, if you guys are somehow following us on TikTok, which if you aren't, you should. I crashed the fuck out when I heard this news in a bad way. I think it almost has 5,000 views for me crashing out. Let's just say I wasn't too thrilled. And it's not that I'm upset because when you look at it logistically, like Kenny Pickett is an upgrade from DATR. Like he was absolute buns the last 2 years in the regular season. He was the preseason MVP, but DTR is not a good quarterback. And so at least Kenny Pickett has at least won games, doesn't have the greatest touchdown to interception ratio or anything, but he's 26. He was a former 1st round pick. I get why it was sort of a low cost potential, somewhat high reward risk for Barry to do. That seems to be Barry's favorite thing to do. So it's not the worst move they could have made. Like they could have made so many worse moves, but they didn't. So I'm okay with it now. But I mean, you saw how I crashed out.
Absolutely.
What was your take when you heard that? Like,
I laughed. I was laughing. I was like,
out loud.
I was like, wait a second. The guy we've made fun of for Pittsburgh drafting Kenny Smallhands Pickett, the guy we were laughing at, like, Steelers fucked up. They took the hometown kid, and next thing you know, a few years later, he's a Cleveland Brown. And I'm just like, everything's full circle, baby, because now everyone's laughing in our face because we made fun of him for so long, and here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw his press conference earlier that he had today because obviously he had his introductory press conference, and obviously he believes he could still be a starter and yada, yada, yada. And obviously no one believes that bullshit except unless you're like guys like Nick Carnes and other idiotic Browns fans that believe in that type of bullshit.
I'm so glad I have him muted by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt, but fuck Nick Carnes. I think
I'm about to mute him too. Well, now he's on a whole Joe Flacco. We need to bring back Joe Flacco over Russ Wilson because Joe Flacco's the one.
Bang, bang, bang. Unload the clip. Reload a new one. Bang, 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 bang. Fuck you. Shut up.
Exactly. Like, dude, it's like, holy fuck. Like, yes, granted, Joe Flacco took us to a playoff. The reason why I don't want him is because it's like Jameis Winston 2.0. Bro throws so many picks. It's unbelievable. We lost in that playoff game because he threw 2 pick sixes. Like, I don't want a guy who throws 2 pick sixes every game. I saw it with Jameis and I saw it with Joe Flacco. I'm done with the pick sixes. I saw it with like Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. And not to mention, you saw how he played last year.
Yes.
His arm is cooked. Like it's done. Yes. There's nothing left for it. He's almost fucking 40 years old.
He is 40.
At least Jameis is like 32.
Yeah.
No, the other guy that we talked to today, Mr. Russell Wilson, which I know there's a lot of people that are like, I don't want Russell Wilson. It's like, listen, I know he's cringy, but at least he's a decent quarterback. Still at 36, he's got something in the tank.
And he
If
doesn't
you're,
turn the ball over.
yeah, he doesn't turn the ball over as much, and this is the other thing too, because obviously we've also been taught trying to talk about guys like Kirk Cousins, who is currently in a weird stalemate with Atlanta.
Yeah.
How he is just obviously the better fit systematically because he's been with Stefanski, previously. When you think about some of Russ's best years with Seattle, what did he have in abundance of? Really was two things. He had an outstanding defense, obviously,
Mhm.
Legion of Boom, and he had an impeccably good run game, aka Marshawn fucking Lynch. All you need to do is build that exactly, let him get into play action, and then you can still push the ball down the field. What did we always
Mhm.
complain about when we had Baker? Oh, we can't push the ball downfield because his arm isn't that good, or we don't have a deep threat receiver. Well, now you fucking do because Jerry Jeudy can do it. And
Mhm.
who knows what we do in this draft? Who knows what else we do? If free agency, it's still early, but you have the ability to throw downfield. And as long as you say you bring back Chubb and then you still draft one, if not even two running backs in this draft with how deep they are, you can make it happen. And you're going to be able to improve the O-line with Cornelius Lucas, who is a tackle. He's an he's been in the league for a little bit now, but he's put up consistent numbers. He had a
Mhm.
better overall score PFF wise than any of our tackles did last year, including Conklin, who finished the year very well.
Yeah.
So he can step in as a swing tackle. You got to see what you have with DeJuan Jones, and you're probably going to draft another tackle anyway in this draft as well. So
It's a good draft class for tackles.
what I'm trying to say is, yes, this quarterback free agent market is trash. It is. But Russ is going to probably be the top of the top
Yeah.
besides A-Rod, which I don't even want A-Rod, obviously he's 42.
Yeah.
And if I had to pick between Russ and Kurt, I probably would still go Kurt. But again, I'm not opposed to Russ. And
Yeah.
I know he doesn't want to be another bridge quarterback, but if you sign him to a 1-year deal and said, hey, if you ball out, you could possibly get one more big time deal for somebody else. And then it gives the Browns a chance to say, okay, we can draft a quarterback, but we don't have to force him on the field immediately.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of doing that. And obviously, even with Pickett, like Pickett is sort of like that bridge quarterback that you can throw out there. And then if he starts playing bad and you draft a Cam Ward, then you can throw Cam Ward onto the field. So if that's their philosophy, then fine. But if a guy like Myles is saying, hey, bring in Russ, you might as fucking well. I mean, you might as well, because what else do you have to lose? You brought back Myles. That means you are going to want to try to compete this year and not tank again for another 3 or 4 win season. And a 6 to 8 win season is going to save Stefanski's job, and it's going to possibly save Barry's job for at least one more season compared to another 3 or 4 win season. Because if that happens, they're gone regardless, and then you have a real clusterfuck. So there's a lot to unpack there, but I'm not totally opposed to Russ. And I
No.
know you really aren't either, but just give me your thoughts, because there's obviously a lot of names getting thrown around, even the Kardashian Wentz's and stuff like that. And again, I think Russ is still the best one that you could pick out of the carousel of mid-tier quarterbacks right now.
Yeah. I mean, my decision's either between Kirk or Russ. Either one of those would be fine. Kirk, for the benefit that he's worked with Stefanski before for a few years and has thrived under the Stefanski system really well. And Russ, because Russ came out last year and showed you that he still has something left in the tank because he played really well last year.
Yeah.
Russ threw 16 touchdowns and 5 picks, 65% completion rating with a 95 rating. So that's still really good. And that came off of a year where he threw I guess in his second year with the Broncos, where he actually thrived in that second year with the Broncos, under Sean Payton, where he had 26 touchdowns, 8 picks, and a 99 rating, and a 67% completion rating. But the thing is that Russ has only thrown over 10 interceptions in 4 of his 13-year NFL career.
Yeah.
I mean, he's thrown, let's look at these years. 2021, 25 touchdowns, 6 picks. 2019, 31 touchdowns, 5 picks. 2018, 35 touchdowns, 7 picks. 2015, 34 touchdowns, 8 picks. 2014, 20 touchdowns, 7 picks. 2013, 26 touchdowns, 9 picks. I mean, even the years he threw double-digit interceptions, 2012, 26 touchdowns and 10 picks. 2020, 40 touchdowns, 13 picks.
Point is, he doesn't turn the ball over a lot.
Yeah, he keeps the ball, and everyone's like, well, he doesn't throw over the middle, and he doesn't use his tight ends. You're telling me he didn't have a good tight end in Denver, and the one tight end he did, he almost had 1,000 receiving yards in Russ's second year.
Now, the one thing that I am a little concerned about is his relationship with Jerry Jeudy.
That's the only thing I'm concerned about. But from what I've heard is that it was never between him and Jerry Jeudy that there was beef. It was just just Sean Payton and Russ, and Jerry Jeudy just happened to get caught into crossfires, and Jerry Jeudy was open quite a bit, but almost like Russ was told not to throw the ball to him and stuff. And
it was a very weird scenario in Denver.
Yeah. And I'm sure in a new situation now with the Browns, both would be perfectly okay. I don't feel like both would be at each other or anything. I think there's no beef there. But people got to get over the fact that, like, well, he doesn't throw over the middle because he's short. Well, Baker was short and he threw over the middle quite a bit.
Yeah.
So Kyler Murray's short and he throws over the middle quite a bit.
Kyler is damn near a midget out there.
Yeah. And so it's like, Russ is not afraid to throw over the middle. He's not Joe Flacco or Jameis Winston where he throws over the middle in a triple coverage. You're saying, you're literally speaking what we're trying to speak is that Russ is not dumb and makes dumb mistakes.
Right.
He doesn't throw over the middle when he doesn't have to. Because, throwing over the middle, you want someone who can throw over the middle, but that's the most dangerous place to throw because that's where the double coverages and the triple coverages happen.
Yeah.
So you're afraid of him not throwing a pick? That's what you're scared of?
Right.
Like, I get it. You had 2 guys recently in Winston and Flacco who threw bombs all day, every day, and would go for 400 yards a game. That's not what we need Russ to do. We just need Russ to be a good, competent quarterback and just drive the ball downfield. That's all we need is competent. We just need someone to go in there and just not turn the fucking ball over. Again, I'm tired of the Joe Flacco's and the Jameis Winstons and all these pick sixes and 4 picks a game or 3 picks a game. Like, cool. Joe Flacco in this game had 4 touchdowns, but he also had 4 interceptions. It's like, and it almost all those 4 interceptions almost cost us the game multiple times. So I'm tired of
it was the reason we lost against Houston in the playoffs.
Yes. So it's like I'm so frustrated with a lot of these picks. Yes, they make the dangerous throws. I don't care. Like Joe Flacco last year had 12 touchdowns and damn near like 10 picks with the Colts.
He didn't play the whole fucking season either. Like he only played a certain amount of games.
He played like 5-6 games and he threw for like 12 touchdowns and like 10 picks. Same with Jameis. Jameis played like 6-7 games and he threw like 12 touchdowns, but he threw like 9 interceptions. Like, that's horrible. Like, if you were to play a full season, that's horrible statistics because then that's like Jameis 40-40 season where he threw 40 touchdowns, 40 picks. It's almost on par with that. That's what you want is a guy who throws 40 touchdowns and 40 picks? No, I'd rather have the guy like Russell Wilson who throws 35 touchdowns and 5 picks. That's the guy I want.
I mean, honestly, you're probably not going to get a Russell Wilson that's going to throw for 30 touchdowns, but you're not going to need him to. With this new, with the going back to Stefanski's old offense, and even with Reese being the coordinator, like think about also what Tommy Reese said when he first got hired. What do you look for in a quarterback decision making? Okay, well, if Russ is going to make good decisions and not kill us in games and be the reason why we lose these games, it's going to be just fine. Now, the one thing that Russ will do a lot of at times is take sacks, but at least he's mobile enough to get out of the pocket and still make a play. But we are going to run the ball consistently more this year than we did last year. That is without a doubt, and that's why I think you got to bring back Chubb, but you got to bring another bell cow in, if not two young ones that can run the fuck out of the ball and also receive out of the backfield, because we fucking need it, and Jerome Ford is going to need it because Jerome Ford can only do so much. He's only good in open space. You really do need a bell cow that can get you the short yardage plays.
Yeah, and not gonna lie, I was almost an advocate for Najee Harris, because Najee Harris is, I mean, he's had 1,000 yards in the last 4 seasons. He's sneaky decent.
Yeah, he just averages like 3 yards a carry. I mean, he's not a physical runner for his size, which makes.
He also had he's also been behind a shit offensive line for a while too.
I would rather swap and get DK or JK, not DK, JK Dobbins. He's a great runner. He's a fantastic runner, and he's probably not going to be able to stay fully healthy. But if you really think about not bringing back Chubb, which I don't see that scenario, because the market for running backs is bad right now. It's terrible, and I think that's why the Browns knew. They're like, we're not gonna force it yet. We're gonna let him test the market. We're gonna see what he feels like he is owed. Or see what people are offering, and then when he comes back to us and says, "Hey, here's the offers that I have out on the table. If they can match it or do better, they're going to do it because they like Nick Chubb, obviously. But with the market how it is, they're not going to over play the running back market like it was last year. And the guys that got paid last year got paid for a good reason. The guys that are they're in the market right now are not as big names. And with this draft, with how deep the running backs are, I mean, you're going to have undrafted running backs that are probably going to play and do decently well just because of how deep this running back room is this year. So,
absolutely.
That's why the market isn't as good. And that's why the Browns are not going to throw a shit ton of money at Chubb if they don't have to. So it is going to suck if he does go. But as long as he doesn't go to Pittsburgh or something, I can take it. But if Chubb goes to Pittsburgh, I will physically be ill. That is one thing I will say. I do not want to have to deal with that. But besides that, too, I want to go over the rest of the free agents here before we get into the final thing that we are going to do tonight. So along with Pickett, we signed Joe Tyrone Showinka. I don't know how to say his last name. He's a edge rusher. Sort of outside linebacker, but more of an edge from Tampa Bay. I think he's played about 4 or 5 seasons. He averages about 5 sacks a season. He's got a great motor, makes good clean tackles, very, very solid. We went over Cornelius Lucas, who is that tackle that we got. We also got Malik Collins, who was released by the 49ers. He is another great pass rush guy inside. So him and Mike Hall are going to be a fun pairing in pass rushers. And apparently he's pretty good against the run. And then we re-signed Devin Bush, who was really, really good throughout the year for us. He was very quiet, but he would have multiple games where he had 10 plus tackles. Scored really well for us against the run. So he was solid. And then guys that we lost along with DTR, we also lost James Hudson, which is, thank God, get rid of him. I mean,
please.
Going from James, Hudson sort of being our swing tackle to being Cornelius Lucas, that is an upgrade already. And then we released Dalvin Tomlinson, who went to Arizona, and Juan Thornhill will be a post-June 1st cut, which we've heard about Juan Thornhill for quite some time. I think that was one of the first names that we heard that was going to get dropped. So far, that is all that we have. Like, there hasn't been a lot. And if you're a Browns fan out there and you're kind of disappointed that we haven't done a whole lot, I want to reiterate the fact that if you look at the last few years under Barry, we have not really done a whole lot in free agency. He will usually make one like sort of splashy trade. This year he really hasn't, besides obviously small hands, but it's not really a splash. It's more of just a depth piece, more so insurance and sort of a project because he likes projects. But other than that, we really don't do a lot in free agency.
No, and I think your big splash is going to come over the weekend, whether it be like Kirk Cousins or be Russell Wilson. That's going to be your
Ayuk.
Brandon.
We've heard Ayuk's name a few times.
Yeah, and I keep hearing it's close and it's close. I don't know. I think it might be draft picks or something that might be something that's fucking things up.
San Fran's probably trying to ask for a shit ton, and what the problem is teams that are going to want to trade for him are going to want the 49ers to eat some of that money because it's going to be a big contract. It's kind of the same thing that's going on with Trey Hendrickson. The Bengals apparently are asking for a ridiculous amount, and they also don't want to eat the rest of his cap, and they're like, no, we don't want to take on all of that money and also give you 2 first rounders for a guy that's, I think he's older than Garrett.
He's like,
he's not nearly as crazy as Garrett is. I mean, sure, he's good, but he
finished Garrett. Yeah, he finished first in sacks.
Right, he did, but it wasn't by much. And honestly, this year's sack totals for DNs was not as impressive because people were hurt. I mean, Micah was hurt for a little bit. Garrett sort of slowed down towards the end. Plus, he, after getting rid of Sedarius, you just kind of knew shit was gonna.
So Trey Hendrickson's a full year older than Garrett.
Okay, so, but still,
yeah,
he's still getting paid a pretty good penny.
Well, the thing is, and here's my thing too, and obviously we'll get to this in a second because we're gonna do a mock draft. But I definitely think that the Browns really don't have to make a splash. And we also just restructured Conklin's contract, which helps a lot. So instead of Conklin getting paid $14 million, he's only getting paid $10 million. So that helps a ton in the cap.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're really trying to reassure, like especially too with what we've gotten so far, is that they're reassuring that defensive line. They're reassuring the offensive line by getting rid of, James Hudson and bringing in Cornelius Lucas. So that was a phenomenal, almost swap, of tackles. Obviously, there's going to be a tackle taken in the draft. There's going to be mostly a running back or two taken in this draft. But for me, and this is going to be the very tricky part about number 2, is the fact that if you do get Russ or Kirk, now it becomes the question of, do you get another QB at 2? Do you go Abdul Carter and just make that defensive line the most insane defensive line in NFL history? Because then you have Mike Hall and Garrett and Abdul Carter, and you'll have the guy we just signed, Malik Collins. Like, that would be the most disgusting defensive line in NFL history. And 2 linebackers and Devin Bush and that Tyron Shoyinka, who also averages like 5 sacks a year. That's going to be disgusting because you got one who can destroy the run game, the other who can just attack the pass. And then if you can get JOK back, that's even more disgusting of a linebacker. Like, the defense would be back to being insanely disgusting.
Absolutely.
And then you just rebuild the offensive line in the draft. Then you can go in the 2nd or 3rd round and get yourself or later in the draft and get yourself like a Will Howard, or, do you trade up from 33 and try and snatch Jackson Dart? Because I don't think he gets past the Steelers if they get like an Aaron Rodgers or.
I mean, shit. Even if Quinn Ewers ends up falling to him, like, you don't have to force him in right away, but he can still be another project. Well, and again, that doesn't really, as long as they don't end up with Milroe, that's the only, like, literally out of all of these quarterbacks, as long as they don't end up with Milroe or fucking Riley Leonard, I don't want either of those guys.
I think my top choice would be either, if it's not Shador or Cam, it's either Dart or Howard.
Yeah, absolutely. Dart, Howard. I would say Tom
McCord after Howard.
McCord, and then after that it gets a little weird.
That was it that show kid from Kentucky, I think is what. I forget his name.
Louisville. There's a
Louisville.
It's really good.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
Tyler Show from Louisville.
Yeah, he's solid. I know Minnesota's quarterback's pretty decent too, but he's going to damn near probably go undrafted. Mm-hmm. So the point is like there are some decent guys, but like again, if you're not sure on quarterback, then you do the OG plan that we all had before we were all sort of set on Shador or Cam and say, just load up on a bunch of talent, get a bridge quarterback, and then go for the quarterback next year when it's stacked, when you have 5 or 6 quarterbacks
like
that could go in the first round. Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be something crazy. So we'll see how it goes. But I guess if you want to just jump right into this next, since we're pretty much done, that's all that the Browns have done so far. There's definitely still a lot more to be at play. Again, Myles Garrett is going to talk tomorrow morning, so I'm very, very curious to see how that goes. I'm really curious to see if these reporters are going to kind of grill him on the Jason Lloyd news about him kind of being a slacker. Like not really, showing up for certain things, kind of questioning his leadership pretty much. And so he's probably going to have a lot to say and discuss and a lot of questions to answer after doing what he did Super Bowl week. It's going to be hard for Browns fans to just instantly forgive him. So,
absolutely.
He's going to have a little bit of explaining to do of kind of why he had sort of a change of heart, who got to him, if it was, Joe Thomas, if it was, Njoku, whoever it was. Somebody probably talked him down and said, dude, come on, like, let's get this going. Like, we're not that far off. We are, but we're not that far off. Once Watson's gone, we can fucking do this. But Watson is the guy we need to let go after this year. So hopefully it will go okay. So tune in to 11 o'clock. Obviously, this will come out at 12:30, so you guys won't even see me say this before then. So hopefully things go well. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and present my screen here. And make sure you pull me up there, big dog. All right, bet.
All right.
Here we go.
So we're going to do full 7 rounds. We're going to go fast, so it'll go quickly. I rip these all the freaking time. So this is kind of random. So, okay.
There goes that first.
So when this happens, regardless of who we get, I'm saying Cam Ward. Do you have any objections?
No. The only objection I would have at this point
Hunter.
in time is Travis Hunter, because then if you go and get Russ or something, you can go out and get a fucking insane wide receiver in Travis Hunter. And then,
very fucking true. And
then you, instead of bringing back Elijah Moore, you have, again, Jerry Jeudy, Travis Hunter, Sed Tillman. But I'm cool with taking Cam Ward at 2 because obviously you just need that backup.
Okay, so we have 2 trade offers. Tennessee has us going back a few picks.
So
I'm good on both of these. I'm not really worried about for next year. So somebody just fell, and I am kind of on par for this. If Ibuka falls to 33 for us, so as of late, my top 3 picks here, because usually I don't see Ibuka. Usually I see this guy, him. So usually I'm sort of falling to either Hampton, Xavier Watts, who's very, very good, and then Harold Fannin has usually been my top 3 guys that I have
if
taken.
Ibuka falls,
if Ibuka falls, I'm probably going here because wide receiver gets thin after a while, and running backs at 67 and even 94 and even 104, they're still going to be quality running backs. So I'm not overly concerned with. I don't think Ibuka falls out of the first round, but because he has right here,
take it.
I'm gonna go. So we instantly get quarterback and receiver done right there and then. Okay, 2 more offers. Neither of these look enticing, so we're gonna keep going. Harold Fannin somehow fell to me.
Yeah,
Isaiah Bond. So if you don't get a receiver at 34, like an Isaiah Bond or even a Jalen Noel, is probably your top receiver guys to go for.
Mm-hmm.
I
do like Harold Fannin.
I do too. His RAS score isn't too bad. I want to see Bonds. They don't even have that.
No.
So usually I'm going like around running back right here. Let's see who we still have at running back.
We still have Trevion.
Okay. I'm okay, though, not taking Trey Ravion, even though he is the man.
trying to think here.
Yeah, this is a tough one because once you get to the spot, it gets a little bit difficult.
Absolutely. This is another tight end that's really good too.
Mason Taylor, yeah, he's solid.
So because I like Hannon a lot, and he's not being picked here for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah,
I'll go Harold.
Okay.
All right.
So
I actually like this. We only move back three picks, but here's the thing: we lose out on 179.
Yeah, but we also move up with the other
I
pick.
know. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I'm
Fuck
good
you,
on
Detroit.
that. Fuck you.
Yeah, so now again, here's where we get to the nitty gritty. No, do you
And
go defense? Do you go offensive tackle? Do you go defense?
This is where I usually actually go. Actually, let's see what other tackles we have. So a few of the guys that I've really liked to tackle. This kid has been really good. His route score is really good. This guy's 6'8", 340, humongous. He's 6'4", 310, so he's probably more of a guard type of guy. This guy's another solid one.
I do like Trapolo quite a bit.
Nelson's pretty good. Obviously, he's, anytime you get a guy from Wisconsin, they're usually pretty solid. So, yeah. I mean, there's definitely big guys. This guy I heard is pretty solid. He's an intriguing guy. This guy's also really good as well. But here's the thing. This is where I like going running back, and I love DJ Giddens. I think this guy's going to be a steal in this draft.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm going to go him personally. You also have Cam Scabato. This is another tight end that's really good too. Terrence for Ferguson. So if you flip-flopped and you wanted to go running back before tight end, you still have this guy. Gunnar Helm is all right. He's more of like a run blocking tight end.
Does Scatabo have a Raz available or no?
I don't believe no. I don't know why. This guy didn't have anything. Yeah.
See, I'm cool with taking like Giddens.
I am too. Let's see who else is here at running back. I mean, Dylan. So Dylan Jameson and Jordan J. James are good. I like to actually take them later on. This Devin Neal kid is really good too. He's solid. Obviously, Etienne's pretty solid. Kid from Arkansas is solid. This kid from Memphis is solid. This Liberty kid's solid. There's still a lot of quality guys. Like even guys at the very bottom are like fucking solid.
Yeah, this running back class is crazy.
I mean, look, this guy's 5'9", but he's got a 9.229 raw score. This kid's pretty solid. He's 6'1", 225. This kid from Miami's fast. It's just this guy doesn't have a very good raw score. I mean, he's as tall as me, a little bit smaller in height or in all that. But yeah, I am gonna go with DJ here. I like Giddens a lot personally. Ooh.
Wow. I feel like we're giving up a lot.
Yeah, 104. I mean, you're getting a lot more mid-round picks though, which is where we're gonna start getting like tackles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let me hide this real quick. No, I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna take it because I really like this kid. This kid's also really solid too. This kid is the one that I really like, though. This kid from NC State. The safety is also insane too. 6 foot. We will need a safety at some point throughout the draft.
Yeah,
I want to see what DNs are like right now too.
Ashton Gillette.
This kid's pretty decent, I think. This kid's pretty solid.
Yeah, Tyler Batty is a stud.
He doesn't have a Roz. He doesn't have a Roz. He's just kind of fast. He's kind of smaller. He's a little bit chubby too for a DN. This guy's a little bit. He's not quite as tall. Like I'm trying to find like tall motherfuckers. Like if I want an edge, this guy's pretty solid. He's only 6'3" though. But like these edges that are like 6'5" plus, that's what you like. 6'3".
Coming soon.
Yeah, there's some that don't have anything. Okay, so that's way down. Okay. Let me see so far what we have. So we've gone all offense here at this point. We've
I'm
gone
cool with taking defense.
We have gone all offense here.
There's your boy Quinn Ewers at 102.
Yeah, that's true. The white Quinn Ewers. I really also like this tackle as well, but we do need a safety. I'm actually going to take this safety here.
Yeah, I like him.
So hopefully we will still get a decent tackle here or a linebacker. That's usually where I've been finding linebackers. 6'7", 304.
Oh,
his ability to reach the second level and engage linebackers showcases his ability and field awareness whenever to maximize his impact. Lutz needs to add mass and strength, which he can do. I mean, he is 304, so at least he's not like crazy. I heard this kid is intriguing as well. He's raw talent. He definitely needs some coaching. This kid though, this is the linebacker. At least one of the linebackers that I've been.
Shmail Mondin.
This is another. Actually, no, that's not. It's not the same safety that I liked. There was another safety that was really, really good later down. Oh well, there's Seth McLaughlin. If I ever get a center, I usually go for him. So McCord's been in the 160s. That's where he's kind of at. Jake Majors is another good center. If you miss out on him, this kid scored really well at linebacker. So we don't have to take linebacker right here. We could take tackle.
I think this is where you should take a tackle.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we probably should have taken one earlier.
Yeah,
but I like him being able to put on a little bit of mass. It's not going to be hard for a big boy, so I'm cool with that. All right, we're at 992 coming up here. This is the other safety that was really good. Look at his raw score.
Jesus, 9.99. Yeah, so almost a perfect score almost.
Yeah. All right, so this. Did we already get an edge? We did not.
No.
I think this is where you can get a decent edge. Let me see who else we got an edge besides him. Tyler Booty. Okay, so we can wait.
Tyler Batty's really solid.
We can wait. I wonder what we got at corner right now. There's not a whole lot of outstanding corners.
Zon Frazier.
This kid's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I think this kid's he's not great. Iowa kids are always solid. He's going to have speed. This kid's also kind of crazy. Experienced fucking starter.
Yeah, 2,400 snaps. Holy shit.
Zone corner. You know what? I'm going to wait on corner then. All right, let's just go over again who we have and what we have left. So we got four picks left.
Yeah, we've
gone QB, all offense pretty much.
Got a safety.
So I'm saying probably edge here.
Yeah, I'll go with edge.
So
I think you just go for best edge.
Yeah. So
so
if we didn't go Harold here, this is where I usually take Luke Latchkey. This kid is going to fall out wherever the fuck he goes. Dude, Iowa tight ends are nasty. I don't know why. They fucking breed them.
Yeah, dude. Iowa T's are fucking disgusting.
He's bad. I want to take him. 6'3", 290. Yeah, I'll take this Minnesota kid. No, not him. The other one. Joyner.
Yeah, Jaw Joyner.
Well, actually, no. I'm going to take the BYU kid a little bit ahead.
Okay.
I know this is a little bit of a reach, but I would rather kind of solidify him.
192.
So now 200. You're back to this. This is usually when I'll get kind of freaky and go like another running back or something like that. But these guys are kind of falling down here. This kid's also really good too. Again, we do need a linebacker.
Yeah.
Let me see who else we got at linebacker. I think this kid. We do have Cody Simon here, although he doesn't have a Roz. He's pretty decent. He's 5'11", 6'1". I'm just trying to find a guy. Here we go. 6'2". Yeah, we'll just take this Cody Lindenberg kid.
Yeah, I would say he's huge.
Why not? All right. This is probably when I'll take my cornerback. So this kid,
Caleb Ransall's a stud.
actually, both these guys are kind of good. 5'11", 5'10", 5'9".
5'11".
Okay, so I think this kid's the biggest one.
No,
Let's see what his weaknesses are. Average tackler who missed 17.2% of his career tackling attempts.
Ooh.
It's tough.
Yeah, we need a guy.
Only a career. Okay, yeah.
That's what we need. A guy who can tackle.
Yes.
we have too many guys.
Tackling.
We have too many guys who can't tackle already. I don't think we need to add another one.
No, not at all. All right, and then this is where you just kind of go whoever the fuck. To be honest, I'm doubling up on running back here. I mean, I could have gone Cody Simon there, but that is the draft that we had. So, what are you thinking about that draft that we just did?
I mean,
what are your likes and what are your dislikes at this point?
I really like the fact that you're not only able to get an amazing QB in Cam Ward, but the fact that you're able to double him up with a wide receiver and Emeka Egbuka.
And a good slot receiver, which is what we really need.
Yeah, which, especially if you get rid of Elijah Moore, a good slot receiver like Emeka Egbuka would be, because then him, Judy, and if you get fucking Brandon Ayuk with Tillman, that's an insane receiving room.
It's nuts.
But I also like adding Fan and Junior because it gives Njoku some help a lot.
Oh yeah, pairing. Yeah, I mean, I think pairing him and Njoku would be fucking gross.
Yeah, and I know Fan is great at block. Yeah, and he's great at blocking too. I know Fan is a good blocker. Yeah. And then I like the doubling up on running backs because obviously with the issues with Nick Chubb and stuff, we need double running backs. I think with
Giddens could be a stud, man. I think Giddens could be nasty.
And with Chase Lund, obviously you're shoring up that offensive line, making it back to what you were a few years ago when you had one of the top lines in the league. Especially if you can get a healthy DeJuan Jones. Like that really helps a ton.
Yeah.
So I like the overall draft. The only, dislikes obviously is like, there's no I don't really have too many dislikes. I mean, maybe not as many defensive players. So a pretty offensive heavy draft. But again, you can go heavy offense in this because defense gets even better later on. So
especially because we've kind of addressed a little bit of it in free agency so far.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. We addressed a lot of the defensive free agency already, so I don't think we need to go heavy free agent.
No.
Heavy, defense in this draft, but I like the fact that we shored up the positional needs that we really desperately needed.
This guy right here from Virginia,
especially you lost Mike Ford now, and you're going to lose Juan Thornhill, so you really need someone to pair with Grant Delpit.
Yeah.
And I think Sanker is going to be good with that position.
Yeah, because you're going to need a new guy to help at least fill out that that room. You're getting rid of Thornhill. You are pretty much trying to have Delpit and Hickman be your two guys. As you said, you're going to probably lose out on Bell as well. That's a big loss for us.
Yeah.
I think so. I think you do have to address this position both here and in free agency. I know a guy that just got released was Marcus Wilson. Williams from Baltimore.
Yeah, that could be a good signing.
If they could somehow get him to like a 2 or 3 year deal, I would be very happy. To say at least.
$1,000,000,000%.
Very, very happy. So I will go ahead and stop my screen here, get out of this. But yeah, again, I think regardless of what we do at quarterback in free agency, I think you got to take a quarterback at some point in this draft. And if you have the ability to get Cam Ward, like if the Titans really do say screw it and go after Travis Hunter or they go Abdul, even with his foot, that would be huge. Or if, say, we don't get to move up to 1, if the Giants try to move up to 1 and then they end up getting Shadur, that's even more funnier to me. That
100%.
That could be a possible scenario that could very well happen, especially if the Giants miss out
on A-Rod and Russ and whoever else is going to, be there. They're not going to have a good amount of guys to really look at and really see what they're going to have in front of them. So the Giants are going to be in a tough spot again this year at quarterback because I feel like no quarterback really wants to go there. Really, like there's not even a decent quarterback in this market that wants to go there. It's going to have to be a rookie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much how I would kind of hope this draft goes. The only thing that you could flip flop is obviously with Ibuka, if he doesn't fall, which I don't think he will. I don't think he gets out of the first round.
No, he
Personally.
won't.
I think he's just too good. I can see a Pittsburgh Steeler team that needs a slot receiver picking him up. Now they don't necessarily need it anymore because they got DK.
Well, I think at this point they need more of a quarterback, to be able to throw them the football.
Quarterback, they need running back. Like they're gonna make some different adjustments for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I guess you never know, but Ibuka would be a steal, and even fucking Fannin dropping where he is because usually Fannon's going 33 or like 40 something, and we got him in the 60s. Like that's nasty. But tight end is also somewhat deep this year, especially run blocking wise. There's a lot of really good run blocking guys. So tackle's pretty decent. I think defense. I think defensive tackle is very deep this year too. D end is somewhat deep this year. There's some really good guys, but if you don't go Ibuka at 33, I say D end at 33. If you really don't go Abdul Carter, and Andrew Berry has that affiliation with the Eagles, and the Eagles won a Super Bowl partly on a defense being as disgusting as it was. It wouldn't put it past me for him to go with Travis Hunter or even in Abdul Carter over getting a quarterback up at 2. So we still have a month and a half until the draft is. So basically what we're going to do is every episode leading up to the draft, we're going to do another mock draft, and we're going to try to make it different each time to where we're not just going for the same thing or the same. I mean, you might see some of the same guys pop up, but with how random these drafts are, like anybody can go first. I've seen Will fucking Campbell go first in a draft before. So, it's tough. And you could very well get a trade from the Giants and they give you 3 picks in the top 100 and a first next year for pick 2. And you're like, okay, I'll move back 1. Like things can happen like that. So I'm hoping that we will have a mock draft at some point that will do that, because I've been offered the fucking house and the yard for pick 2 on some of these mock drafts. So hopefully that happens for these. But yeah, basically every episode we're gonna end the episode with a mock draft, and me and him will go back and forth. Like for next week, I'll have you sort of run the show on this one, and then we'll just kind of alternate. I think that'll be fun to do. So yeah, thank God there's some positive news going on. like it's been a dreadful last month or so.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Especially with all the Myles Garrett wanting to leave and stuff, and now he's resigned. Again, I'm very interested to see what he says tomorrow.
Me too.
Because that might be TikTok worthy stuff tomorrow too. So be sure you guys follow us on TikTok, because we're gonna start posting a lot more on there. We're trying to reach 1,000 followers so we can actually live stream on there.
Yes.
So be sure you guys go follow us on TikTok so we can start live streaming and really blow this podcast up. So because we're gonna have some crazy reactions, and then both of us can jump on maybe an hour-long TikTok live where one of us is on the Just BSing page and one of us is just on our original profiles, and we just sit there and just talk and have people come in and discuss stuff if they want to come discuss anything and just have some fun with it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And we're not even close to 1,000 followers, but we would
No.
love to. We're at about 132, which is still honestly pretty solid considering the amount that we've posted. Like me personally, I've been trying to be a lot more active on it, and just kind of when news hits, I try to react to it as best I can or as
Yeah.
quickly as I can, because we both have jobs. But yeah, if you guys want to give us a follow, please do. It will obviously help us out a lot. And yeah, we want to be able to live stream on there more and be more interactive with everybody. So that's pretty much the goal at this point.
Yeah. Also, especially too with the Rust news and now and stuff like that. I mean, there's definitely going to be some reactions on the TikTok page. So again, be definitely on
Especially
the lookout.
if shit pops off this weekend, I will definitely have enough time to do so because I am watching my girlfriend's dogs. So I will have plenty of time to react to things almost right away. So again, if you
Yeah.
guys aren't following us on TikTok, please do. It's just BS and Pod. Be super easy to find.
It's in the
We
link.
will.
It's in the description of the YouTube
Yep.
video. So obviously, you have to do is just follow that.
Yes, sir.
So,
But yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for me. You got anything else before we get off?
no, man, go Cavs like always.
Go Cavs, go Brownies, hell, go Guardians. We're almost due. We're almost there. We only got a few more weeks. A few more
2
weeks till
more weeks.
Gardos.
The 27th is the beginning of the season, so 2 weeks from today.
So yeah, we will certainly talk a little more Guardians this time around. We just had a lot more to discuss Browns wise. But Gavin Williams, dude, he looks like a fucking ace. I'm really excited to see him.
Gavin Williams is looking like an ace.
Yes. So all right, guys, we'll see y'all next week with episode 78 and hopefully some more NFL news. Peace out.